Hey, everybody, welcome back to the My Cancer, My Plan podcast series hosted by Men's Health Network. And today, the episode is all about caregivers, the ones that stay. And we're going to be hearing from two friends of mine, Ken and Debbie Phillips. Let's hear from Ken and Debbie. Today's subject, the ones that stay. We're going to focus on the emotional, physical, and practical realities of caregiving for guys with cancer and how guys serve as caregivers too. Our guests today are the Phillips, Ken and Debbie. Ken, why don't you tell us who you are and why this subject deeply resonates with you?
Yes, I'm Ken Phillips, and it's just, I guess, a subject I wasn't expecting for one thing. But it's just you going along through your life, and all of a sudden you're told you have cancer.
How long ago was that, Ken?
That was 2017 now that
Okay.
it was diagnosed, and then 2018 that I had surgery for it.
And your spouse there, your wife, Miss Debbie, was there the whole entire time, right? For better or for worse. That's what the wedding vows say. So I'm assuming, Debbie, you were there every step of the way. You went to appointments with him. You took notes. You were his sidekick during the whole process.
Yeah, he's quite a project.
I was going to say, was he a good patient?
He's okay. He just like any normal man would behave,
Well, we're going to get into that, Debbie. We want to hear your perspective on that, Debbie. We'll get to that in just a second. So, Ken, 2017 is when you heard the news. What was the form of treatment? I know we've known each other for quite some time, but you have to refresh my memory. What was the form of treatment that you chose?
Well, when I was told about it, I was, I think, 57 at the time, so I was on regular insurance. But kind of went through the whole thing of, contacting Dr. Google to see what the options are.
Wasn't there a book?
That was later. Kind of researched everything on the internet, and I know my doctor, Dr. Flickinger, had told me several of the different options between surgery and radiation or proton therapy and things. So researched it for a little bit. My numbers were kind of high, so I needed to kind of look at it kind of quickly, and decided to just go ahead and get it removed so that it was gone.
As do most men. When most men get that news, they choose just to get rid of it. So, what changed your life, Ken and Debbie, when this whole thing started? What was the first thing you did, and how did you maneuver following the diagnosis?
For one thing, we joined a support group.
That's
important. And which I think is a big help, just to have other people to talk to and other points of view and just support. And so we did that, and then just the whole going through surgery and recovery and stuff. It probably took 4 or 6 months to kind of get back to normal again.
And Debbie, how did caregiving affect your work, your health, and your identity?
It was a shock. He's got a lot of other medical issues, but never did we hear cancer. And when the doctor had told him, to do some research, but he also told him, it's up to you. You do what makes you feel comfortable. And we had looked for a support group. He found out in, December 23rd. So in January, when the weather wasn't very good, and there was the support group that we go to now didn't meet. because of the snow or ice or whatever. And it's really important, if you've got questions, to get with people that have actually had. Everybody in the support group has either had surgery, done proton therapy, or radiation. And when you see them every week or every month, it gives you, and the wives too, they come to the meetings too, and it gives you, it doesn't make it a scary place to go. You can call somebody.
So I guess what I'm hearing you say is your identity before Ken's diagnosis, you never thought you'd be the spouse of someone that's battling prostate cancer.
No.
And now you're thrusted into that role. And it's actually been something that you can see the beneficial part of it, because you've made new friends and you've connected in ways that you never would have prior to that.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And did it affect your health at all? Your physical health or your mental health, just being a caregiver for Ken?
Maybe a little bit, but Ken's a unique person. He's had 2 open heart surgeries. He had brain surgery. And if I would have known in 1979 that his health was going to be an issue, because he had a ruptured appendix, I should have probably hit the road jack then. I stayed for the long game, and but now that he's about 7 years out.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I heard it somewhere, and I think about it every time, is somebody said you're only cancer free between blood tests. And it's funny because he had a blood test just the other day.
Got my results today.
And he got the results, and I was really afraid because it was a different doctor and a different lab and and I thought, we don't need to see anything strange. And it was lower than the other. Yeah. Well, it was basically non-detectable. They do blood work, and it was non-detectable. So.
Well, that's worth celebrating.
Yeah.
Debbie, you touched on something about Ken being a very unique man. This is a question that I've been dying to ask you since we started. What do you think makes men unique in the caregiving process? What makes caregiving for men unique?
For him, anyway, he might be a little more wishy-washy with things that aren't as important, but he was absolutely sure of what he wanted to do about this. And I understand why he chose surgery, because for people that don't realize, if you don't do surgery, you can't go back and do it.
If you do radiation, you can't go back and do surgery later. So I looked at that as, at least it left me another option later if something were to come back. And proton, I know, is a big thing these days, but my insurance wouldn't cover it because I wasn't on Medicare yet. So,
well, that's a whole other podcast series for another time. Ken, I'd love to get your take on that question. What do you think makes men unique in the caregiving process? We're guys, we're stoic creatures. We don't like to ask for help, do we?
Right. You don't want to hear it. You want to just kind of handle it yourself or not handle it yourself.
Sure.
And it's not there.
Pretend it doesn't exist or whatever. I think that you're used to not having somebody help you with things.
Right. And when you're leaning on your spouse and she's he or she is your caregiver, in this case, your wife is your caregiver, how do you encourage them to care for themselves?
Just to take care of yourself, I guess.
Give yourself some breaks, give yourself some grace, just give yourself some time to unplug from the entire situation. I've talked to a lot of couples, and they say, their wives who are taking care of them during this process, oftentimes they'll get them gift certificates for massages so they can at least have an hour or so of just self-care as a way to kind of decompress. What do you think? I'm not going to put Ken on the spot. Did Ken ever do that for you? Was there ever any gift certificates to the the spa. Well, I would say maybe next time, but let's not hope for next time in this case.
With all
Uh,
of the different surgeries he's had, the prostate cancer one wasn't the worst recovery. It was, I mean, for him anyway, the catheter that he had to, wasn't that about a week?
Yeah, about a week.
About a week he had a catheter. And he could go out, but you had to run this tube down on the inside of your pants so that, you know, so it was almost better at some point. We decided that we just wouldn't go out for a week. I can go out and, you know, but there are people that the very next day go back to work. Mm-hmm. The guy you worked with went back to work the next day.
Yeah, the guy I worked with, he was off for a week. We thought he was just on vacation. Nobody ever even knew he had surgery.
Wow. And how old was he, out of curiosity? Was he
about the same as me,
age,
I think, you know. He might be a few years older than me, but you know, that was actually before I had my surgery. So he was probably mid-50s at the time.
You have to really trust the surgeon, you know, if you're going to choose surgery, because there's some real intricate work they have to do, and you want to make sure. And we've been blessed with.
Yeah, I appreciated my doctor because he's a surgeon, but he didn't push surgery. He gave me the options, and he said, research them, and whatever go see an oncologist, go see Proton, go talk to everybody, and just do what you're most comfortable with. That, you know, one isn't any better than the other. It's really just what you're most comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of guys just feel like it's information overload at that point,
Right.
you know. And then, of course, you mentioned Dr. Google and all the resources that are available at your fingertips. I mean, it can really, really get pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I think sometimes men are afraid, you know, especially for a prostate. I mean, I guess it would be the same thing if a woman has breast cancer. She might think, you know, I don't want to lose my femininity, you know, and men are the same way. And I think that when they come into the support group, I think they're all thinking they've got these questions about what's going to happen with my sex life and things like that, and they won't answer, or they won't ask it. So usually our group leader will bring it up, but it's not, you know, there are all different kinds of things, and what you have to be vocal about what it is your concerns are.
And I think you probably would agree with me that the support groups are definitely an avenue of caregiving. You know, it may not be hands-on 24 hours a day, but that one meeting that's monthly, that is a way to get care.
Right.
And my question to you both is, you guys are regulars at the meetings. I stop in every once in a while. Why don't you think more men ask for help?
I think it's just something that they're not used to doing, or they're not wanting to show like a weakness or something, you know, or I can figure this out myself, you know. And, you know, I think that's why, you know, even though it's been 7 or 8 years, we still go to these meetings, is because, you know, people want to hear from people that have been through it, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, as somebody who's attended the meetings many times, not every month, but as often as I can, those meetings are invaluable. I would encourage anybody who's been diagnosed with any form of cancer to find your nearest support group and begin attending, because I know the one that Jeannie Green, shout out to Jeannie Green for facilitating the support group here in Knoxville and in Maryville, Alcoa area. She is an angel. And there are so many men out there that would have no other advocate, no other resource. And she takes them on. She takes on every case, every guy she, is just a phone call away from getting someone to really help them navigate that labyrinth that is cancer care, especially prostate cancer.
Definitely.
She knows the drugs and she knows the procedures, and it just depends on how old you are sometimes as to what you want to do too. There's a lot of components, like he said, whatever his scores were at the time. But I think they told him the last time we were there, it kind of feels like he's cancer free, but I don't know that I would go around saying that. You have to respect that, you had a great surgeon.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people are reluctant to say that, and that's totally understandable. Anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up here?
We are going to be married 46 years next month.
Next month. Okay.
Yeah. And he had a positive Cologuard test coming back. So we're going to walk that road.
So that's next week's journey.
Yeah, we're going to see what the colonoscopy says next week.
I think we need a podcast series for you two, just following Ken's health, But congratulations on the 46 years. How does one celebrate their 46th wedding anniversary?
Stay at home and watch TV, probably.
Well,
hey,
the most exciting people in the world.
If he's got, if this little blurb that we have to go through right now gets resolved, we'll probably go out and have a nice steak. Something.
Well, congratulations on 46 years. Congratulations on 7 years of having out of the woods of the prostate cancer, and good luck on the future. Thank you, Ken and Debbie, for being our guests today. Real quick, how can viewers connect with you in the future?
Yeah, I was going to say there should be a way. Do you
mean like a phone number or email?
Email address? I'm not sure, Ken, if you have a website or a LinkedIn handle or Twitter,
Facebook.
Handle?
But
He's on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I can give you my email address.
And if anybody wants it, that's
it's tngiants@gmail.com, right?
That's right.
Right.
All right, Ken and Debbie, thank you very much for your time. We'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.
Before we wrap up, I want to point you toward a really helpful resource. Pfizer has a program called This is Living with Cancer. It's packed with tools and support for anyone affected by cancer. They've even got a free app called Living With that helps people manage some of the day-to-day challenges that come with a cancer diagnosis. If you want to learn more about this app, you can by visiting thisislivingwithcancer.com.